All right, we are live.
Sweet. So how's things?
Pretty good. Yeah.
You're gonna go do 100 miler?
Yeah. I've got it. Let's see. It's scheduled for like September 19th. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be basically from Flagstaff to the Grand Canyon. So I'll need to like adjust to elevation. So I might have to go out there about a month early.
Out to Flagstaff?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Why?
Because the elevation is like 7,000 feet there.
Oh, okay.
So I've got
That's
to.
higher than it is here. I think we're 5 or 6,000 feet.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I have to adjust to the elevation before I run. I mean, it. You don't have to do it, but it will. It'll make things a lot easier. So
Right. Yeah, we're at 4,500 square feet or square feet. We're 4,500 feet above sea level. So yeah. So
how
that's
about?
that's higher than here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty high up there, so it definitely affects your oxygen level and everything for
Yep.
training. So
So I wonder if I would feel it if I went out there and tried to run, because
uh,
it's another 2,000 square feet or 2,000 feet up.
I don't think so. I think it would probably be close enough that you probably wouldn't notice that much of a difference.
Right.
That it'd probably be fine. So, yep. I think yeah, what's been going on with you?
So I told you about the You Don't Know JS Yet challenge with
Mhm.
Kyle Simpson. We got all that stuff together and launched it. And of course, once I set everything up, the cart wasn't working.
Oh,
So it
great.
took me about a day to figure it all out. But people are signing up now. But I think I might have missed a window there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an extra audio on the feed for Angular React Vue and JavaScript and see if we can drive some signups here on Monday.
Okay, cool.
And then I'm kind of waiting till Monday to push with some of the other folks that I have that have Swing, right? And then just see if we can do like a big social media push on Monday and Tuesday and get people to sign up. But I also have a feeling that a lot of people are just going to wait to sign up until the week before.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's going. I've had to push back the iOS and the React Native conferences. Um, the iOS one just I didn't really spend enough time marketing it and stuff, so I'm working on turning that around. And the React Native conference, I didn't get enough speakers to hold
Oh,
it.
okay.
And it's supposed to be in like 3 or 4 weeks, and it's just anyway. So I'm working on that. Um, I'm trying to decide. I hesitate to even say this in a public forum, but I'm going to say it anyway. In some ways, I kind of want to see if there's any way that I can, get at least a good chunk of my income coming in from something that's not the programming community, because the current state of things with the political climate has just exacerbated the stuff that happened last year. And it keeps getting brought up, and people, I mean, it doesn't go anywhere because everybody's screaming about everything else too.
Yeah, yeah.
But I invite people to come on the show, and I'm getting a lot of rejections there. I think the sponsorships, I think I could probably get sponsorships going again, because I'm starting to have people come to me. So I think I can make that work, but it's been kind of this pain in the butt, and I'm spending time because I'm trying to back away from a lot of the podcasts so that I can focus on the stuff that makes the money that makes the podcast network run.
Right.
And, and so I don't want to be on 4 podcasts every week. I want to be on like 1 podcast or 2 podcasts every week. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make that all work. And and kind of keep everything else together, but it's been frustrating. I mean, I have gotten enough sponsorships to kind of keep the all the balls in the air, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, part of me, I'm not to the point where I want to just completely exit tech at this point or exit the programming, and part of me wants to create a community where I don't know if an immunity to this garbage is a realistic thought, but mostly just that it's like, look, we're a community where our focus is on technology. We talk about technology. We don't give so much power or anything to the political garbage that goes on out, in the wider world. We're just here to help each other. Because I think there are people that want that. But at the same time, I don't know. I worry that if I set something like that up, that I'll get people into the community that want it, but the second that somebody decides that we're a horrible group of people that aren't politically correct, that under pressure they all start to leave.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how realistic any of this is, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not just the tech community anymore, right? So it's like even if you go, beyond the tech community, like you still have to face this kind of crap right now. So
yeah,
I think what you're saying makes sense is to just like focus on the technology aspect. I think that's, there are enough people that want to do that. And really, like, it's like the problem is really there's most of the developers, most of the people that are actually your customers that listen to podcasts and whatnot are your audience are just normal developers that don't even know anything about any of this stuff really. So it's really just the big name people that have that know about any of these things and make the trouble. So
that's true, but those are also the people that I tend to be reaching out to as podcast guests. So I may need to just change my strategy there a little bit and reach out to people that are a level or 2 down on the tech celebrity ladder. Because a lot of them can come on and have just as good a technical conversation, right? It's just that they don't draw as many eyeballs and things like that. So
yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at, is like you can basically bring up people that are technically good, and then they're also not going to have egos invested in it, so it'll be a good opportunity for them. And if they're technically competent, then they'll build a reputation from your podcast. So
yeah, the other thing that occurred to me too, now that we're talking about this, and I guess sometimes I just kind of need the sounding board, which is what we're here for, right? Is that on a lot of these shows, I've thought about actually just kind of focusing on the fundamentals, right? So for like React Native is one area where it's been a little bit tricky. I've actually had a bunch of people tell me, that they wouldn't come on the show because of, whatever. And, they're kind of working on the cutting edge stuff, and we need to cover the cutting edge stuff.
Right.
But what I'm thinking also is that, I could basically make a list of the fundamentals of React Native or React or Angular or whatever, right? And then just go to like the LinkedIn groups and the Facebook groups and say, look, we want to do a series on the fundamentals of React. And so, we'd like to have, if anybody wants to come and be a guest, and just be part of the conversation, right? You don't have to be the resident expert, because our panel's resident experts on the fundamentals too, right? But if you want to come on and be a guest while we talk about this particular topic, right? Because then I can start recruiting hosts off of those folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, they can basically schedule the episode and choose which of the fundamentals they want to cover, right? And then we just take that off our list. We just cross it off and say, okay, these are the ones that are left. Because I think covering the fundamentals too, I think that would draw in a bunch more people, because we'd have kind of evergreen content for, the stuff that everybody has to know in order to do the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm a little worried about the pricing on the challenge too, to be honest, because I set it for $197.
And what are they going to get for that amount of money?
They get a daily video as a lesson. I'm going to wind up doing most of those. They get a copy of Kyle's book. They get Q&A calls during the week, one of which is going to be with Kyle and I, right? So they can come and ask Kyle and I questions. They get an 8-part podcast series that's only available to people who are doing the challenge. They get a hackathon at the end. It's a 30-day challenge, so it's 4 weeks and then 2-day hackathon.
Yeah.
And there was something else, Slack. I could go look at the landing page and tell you all, but they get all that stuff. So they get basically daily training. They get, they get help learning this stuff. They get a ton of content, and they get support from us.
Yeah. I mean, sounds like the price is good then. I don't think the price is too high.
Yeah. I've had a few people tell me that they've either, I lost my job, and so I'm watching the money. And honestly, I've let a few people know, look, if you've lost your job, I mean, I'll work with you, right? And we'll figure something out so that you can afford to come. I mean, I can't give away every ticket, but I can help a few folks out. And then, I'm trying to get it in front of some of the boot camps too, and see if any of the boot campers want to come, because we are focused on JavaScript fundamentals. So
one thing you could do too is you can set it up where you basically say, I'll give you like a scholarship, like a free ticket now, and then when you get a job, you can pay it back. Like and most people will actually follow through on that.
Yeah.
Especially if they've gotten value out of it. So
yeah, that's true. Also on the summits, the other thing that I've been thinking about, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I went to the 2 Comma Club live event that Russell Brunson put on. It was incredible. But what they did is they actually let people either buy a ticket up front, or they could pay afterward if, and so you could just email them and say, wasn't worth it, I want my money back. And they'll just, not charge your card. And so I'm thinking about doing that for the remote conferences and seeing how that works.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it looks like this challenge is going to go off. Honestly, I think we're going to sell a bunch of them. I need to actually pin Kyle down and do the podcasts and stuff. Like do the recordings, but I mean, we're talking a few hours, right? For 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And then, and then I just need to sit down and outline the videos and do them. But I mean, I'm basically pulling the material straight from his book. So it's not like I have to come up with it on my own. They also get exercises that they need to do in order to learn this stuff. That's the other part of it. So, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's an awesome opportunity to learn. And to be honest, I think this is something that that advanced folks could come and pick up, right? Because they complain about the way functions and scopes and all that stuff works in JavaScript because they don't get it, coercion. And anyway, so if they came in and understood it, then they'd actually save themselves a whole bunch of problems that they run into when they're trying to write JavaScript, like they write Java or Ruby or whatever on the back end, or .NET. So Anyway, but yeah, I think the other thing I'm going to do is just I'm going to put like a 3-minute or 5-minute pitch all on its own onto each of the podcast feeds.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
And then I've been emailing my list this week, so yeah. Anyway, but that's kind of what I've been into. For sponsorships, the other thing that I want to do is I'm essentially working on it's like a podcast sponsorship playbook, and so it basically walks them through the basics of marketing. It's surprising to me how many marketing folks have no idea what they're doing. You laugh, like not surprising to me, but I talk to these folks and they're like, well, yeah, we just, we want to sponsor the podcast and we want to drive this traffic. And so then I ask them, okay, well, what do you want out of it? And, sometimes they're like, well, we just want to get the word out. We want exposure. Right. And I'm like, okay, well, running the ads and letting people know that, you're a brand out there that does the thing. I mean, that works great for podcasts just all on its own. That's fine. Right. Oh, you have, we do this thing, so check us out. Right. But I'm like, if you're driving for signups, right, you want to see like a measurable ROI as far as traffic and stuff. I'm like, you got to do more than that. And so, I'm talking to them about lead magnets and email marketing and funnels and stuff like that. And it's like, look, where are you sending them? And a lot of them, they just want to send them to their
white paper,
their homepage and sign them up, get them signed up. And I'm like, no, I'm like, yeah, you got to give them a white paper. You got to give them a, here's how to solve your problem, right? And then your how to solve your problem is you need a tool like ours, right? Is as part of the process, or whatever. But they have to opt in with their email address, and then you've got to send them great stuff to convince them that you're the right option, right? You need some kind of bridge as well, because they trust me. They don't know you. Right. And so if they trust me, then you need me to be getting in there. And I can't do it in 45 seconds. Sorry. I can do some of it, but not much of it. But yeah, so, get in and say, look, this is why they're a sponsor. This is why I like them. This is why I believe in what they do. This is why this is going to work for you. This is how you get set up. Right. And so then I can kind of, I can make that connection for them so that people are more willing to give them a try and be successful with them. And so I'm trying to spell all that out for folks so that when they come in and they want to sponsor, it's like, look, we're going to do a little bit more work, but at the end of the day, what you're going to wind up with is something that you can actually use to get conversions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's good. I mean, that'll work for probably your best ones are still going to be the ones that just want to do general branding because, they're just going to be paying money. But yeah, for the ones that are looking for results.
Hang on just a sec. It's not time for dinner, baby. I'm sorry. You need to go out of here and close my door, okay? No, not time for snack. Go on out of here. Sorry. My 4-year-old wants dinner. It's 10 a.m.
Oh. I'm on board with that.
Yeah, heck yeah.
To have some dinner. So
then I'm just going to do a ton of outreach with that and just basically say, hey, look, here's the playbook.
Yeah. It is weird how some sponsors, like, just the difference, right? Because like I was telling you guys about a $20,000 sponsorship, and they just paid it, and it's like they're not really paying attention to any of this. They're just like, we just want to do it. So it's like the bigger budget, like branding moves versus the actual direct response marketing. So
can I get an intro to them?
I'll see. Let me see how it goes first. See.
Yeah. One other thing that I did. So I'm not sure if you know who codefund.io is. So their deal was ethical advertising for programmers, right? So it essentially was, they didn't have any like tracking in their ads or anything. But they were an ad network specifically aimed at open source documentation and things like that, right? And so they were out, basically talking to all of the sponsorship, or companies that would advertise on my podcast. They were talking to the same people.
Right.
And the two guys that were running it, one of them was my mentor at my first programming job, and the other guy was the guy that turned to teach me to code over to me back in the day. And so both good friends of mine. They just shut CodeFund down. I don't know why, but they basically said, look, COVID, blah, 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 we can't stay open. And so I contacted them and I basically said, hey, look, do you guys want to come run sponsorships for me? And right, because they know how to do the ads. I don't have the kind of heavy financial requirements that they did for what they were doing. And and so I basically just offered them commission sales and account management deal.
That's good.
So I'm waiting to hear back from them, because honestly, they've been out there talking to all the people that I was talking to.
Yeah.
And if they tell me no, then I may actually just pay Eric or both of them to sit down with me for an hour or so and just walk me through their entire sales process. Because there's no competitive nature to it at this point, right? They're not selling. Yeah, they're not selling any. They're not. Yeah, anyway. So they're not. I wouldn't be taking business away from them if they decided to sponsor me and not them, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. That's perfect, actually. That could work out really well, because they have all these existing client relationships, and their customers that they already have are going to want to run ads, and they can basically just point them over to you, and they can.
Yeah, they were running ads anyway with them, so yeah. So
they're just shutting it down completely.
Yeah, they shut it down on July 1st. They said they weren't going to run any more ads.
That's interesting. Okay.
And I emailed them and I asked them where, if they knew where they were going to land next. And it didn't, I don't know for sure, but it didn't sound like they had any concrete idea as to where they were going to go.
Right.
Yeah. And they also started a podcast network. When the Views on View folks split, they went over to them back in November, December timeframe. And the Sustain Our Software podcast also was the same kind of deal. They split off because Eric was actually running that show for us, and they split off at the same time because they didn't want to jeopardize CodeFund off of what was going on with me and whatever. So it's understandable. I wasn't happy about it, but I understood it. Yeah. So of course, the first thing they said was, we're going to continue the podcast under another umbrella, which fine. But yeah, if they can find sponsorships for my shows and help me run that, that's one thing that honestly, I like talking to people. I like the challenge of making the sponsorships work, but I don't particularly enjoy selling the sponsorships.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's critical to what we're doing because it pays the bills, but that's about it, right? It's not central to our mission. It's not central to what I'm about with this stuff. So yeah. Then I can focus on the movement and less on that end of things. So
yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's going on with me. Lots of stuff. I feel like I'm juggling about 8 different things, but hopefully some of this stuff will land and I can, because if we can make this challenge work, there's no reason why we can't run it again in the fall and again in the winter and again in the spring, right?
Yep.
And then we have all the work done and it's just like, hey, go sign up. And then I'm looking at doing a similar challenge for machine learning, because we have a machine learning podcast that's ready to launch, but I don't have a sponsor and I can't afford to launch it without one. So, and a lot of folks want to see actual numbers. And so it's hard to get a sponsor without launching the show. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's all the stuff that I'm kind of juggling. I'm looking at running some ads for the challenge too, I guess. I didn't mention that. But I've never run like Facebook ads or anything before, and so I'm a little bit worried about doing that. So
When is the challenge starting?
July 20th.
Yeah, you have enough time to learn it. And you're
Yeah.
gonna learn it by doing it.
Yep.
How many registrations do you have already?
5.
How many are you targeting?
500.
What? How many emails have you sent?
2. I'm sending more. I'm gonna send one today, a couple tomorrow. I'll probably do it again right before the week before the challenge.
500
'Cause I've-
people on a $200 program. That's like $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the title of the challenge?
The You Don't Know JS Yet challenge. Because it's based on the book series that Kyle wrote. So we're kind of working off of his branding because people like his books.
What are your
Hey,
open
I
rates
just-
right now on your email?
I just realized the the name, the JS, the abbreviation.
You don't know Jack.
Yeah, it just occurred to me. I was like, okay, that
If you listen to the podcast, because we did a podcast episode and put it out on Tuesday where we talked about the challenge and talked about his books, and that was initially where he got that from, was You Don't Know Jack, and then it was and you know, Jack S and JavaScript, and so You Don't Know JS. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's a pretty sizable group to get into. You
honestly,
definitely
I'd
need
be
that.
happy with 100, but
Yeah, 100 to 200 is still $20,000.
yeah. So I have
and
a
you're splitting it with
3%
him?
open rate.
3% open rate?
Yeah.
When was the email sent?
Tuesday.
Dude, your emails are trash. They're not working anymore. You gotta do something about it. You gotta delete a bunch of people. You gotta change
I'm
your
working on that.
email service provider, whatever it is. I think your email marketing software. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
at 3%, you're done. That's game over. You'll be 0% soon.
Yeah, I've been working with ActiveCampaign to figure that out.
That's not good, man.
Yeah, the second email was also 3%,
How big is your list?
33,000.
Where did the emails come from? Like, how are
Website.
people?
Website opt-ins.
Yeah.
What was the opt-in? Okay, when someone opt-ins into your email list, do you have a sequence?
No.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
So there's no. Is there a welcome email?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, what's the open rate on the welcome email?
Good question.
Because if that's like if that's under 10%, then there's nothing you can do. Like very little you can do. Like,
Your domain is fucked.
but if that's like 30-40%, then your problem is that you're just onboarding people or not onboarding them, and so.
Welcome email open rate 1.63%.
Okay,
No. Something is wrong.
how
Has
many?
a 12.6% bounce rate.
That is possible, but 1.6 open does not make any sense. Your emails that you're sending as broadcast cannot have a higher open rate than your first email that you ever sent to them.
What?
I've been getting I always get a ridiculous number of people joining.
There's something weird going on. We talked about this
Yeah.
before. You're
We
getting
did.
like spam signups or
Maybe.
but how are people signing up?
Second email. The vast majority of them are coming in through the email sign up on the footer of the website.
What is it that you're offering there?
Nothing. It's just get our newsletter. That's all it says.
Are
You might be getting spam bots.
Well, are you
Yeah, but
getting...
why would spam bots be signing people up to my email list?
It's called spam. Like they're the reverse spam bots. Basically, they trigger. They will sign up and then they will call spam on your email and just trash your email.
Well, okay. Are you paying anyone to get you email signups or anything like that?
No. Nope. Never have.
How many email signups are you getting per day?
I'm sure there's a way to know that.
What are they called? Spam traps? No.
They're called honeypots, but
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Reports. Yeah, because like the email episode roundups, I get like 3 point. I'm getting the same open rate basically. I did set up an automation that drops people out if they haven't opened anything or replied to anything or anything like that. And it started to clean people out.
yeah, but this is not okay. So just to give you an example, right? If I go into my active campaign and I take a look at the welcome email, right, that people get when they first sign up.
How do I find that? Just the
go to reports and then go to contact trends and then there'll be a tab
contact
for me.
reports. Contact trends. There we go.
Why is this thing going so slow? Okay.
Right. Average contact growth per day, 101.
That is way too many people. There's something really weird.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, but
you're not even getting enough traffic. I mean, how much traffic are you getting on the website?
About 20,000 views per month.
That's
Yeah,
not...
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well,
20,000
we've had this conversation before, but I don't know what to change.
Where are the emails coming from? Hold on, take a look at the emails that have come in.
Spam traps.
What do they even look like? Someone maybe just attacking you and just submitting emails every day. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know why though.
Well, that's just the way to trash your email.
Deliverability.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing for someone to do though. Like it's...
Yeah.
Well, that's what spam traps are all about. Like whatever they call it, spam traps or whatever. They basically set up these bot email addresses that will receive your emails and then just report them as spam.
Yeah, I understand that.
But you have enough enemies now that you could be,
I could have been targeted.
Yeah, but it's a really silly, like you have to understand something about email marketing to... it's not really
that hard to do.
So this is interesting.
There's something else going
on. I should just share my screen.
Yeah, just be careful with the email addresses. That's the only thing.
No, yeah, you have to enable it so I can share my screen.
Okay.
So I can't share my screen. Anyway, I'm not showing emails, but if you look at the graph of contact growth, one thing that's interesting is that I switched back to WordPress. Like a week ago, and the contact growth at that point drops off. So now it's like 9 contacts, 8 contacts, 8 contacts, 14 contacts, 16 contacts for...
Those are those are
five.
those are accurate numbers.
Right.
So that's what you're
But
seeing
before
now.
that, yeah, but before that, it 124, 237, 98, 73, 60, 153, 203, 210. So that's why it's 101, is because a quarter of this 30-day graph
Uh-huh.
is, the average is probably like 10.
Can you look at those days to see who was coming in? By the way, just to give you an idea, the first email that I sent someone when they sign up, it has a 76% open rate on it.
Well, that's what I would expect, is because they sign up and they immediately get an email from me and they're like, okay, whatever they signed up for, right?
Is
Right.
that Simple Programmer or Bulldog?
Bulldog.
What's Simple Programmer? I'm at 50%.
Of course, I'm giving them a score for their quiz and that one. On Simple Programmer, I'm trying to think, how can I figure this out? It depends on what they sign up for, I guess. So,
Yeah.
I'll just take one of them, one of your most popular ones.
But I put the form in the footer of the new devchat.tv.
Yeah.
And so it's still there. It just looks a bit different.
Well, I don't know what you had going on before, but I mean, can you look at the emails that you were getting on those days
I should be able to.
and just see, like, take one of the days where you got like 100 email signups or 150, just go to your contacts and then look at the email addresses, what they look like for those 100
Yeah, I'm
people that
wondering
signed
if
up.
there's a way to. Oh, there's an
You just-
advanced search here.
You can go, advanced search by date on the contacts tab.
Contact detail, date subscribed is. Then if I go back to. Current date is exactly. Hang on. There we go. So it was July or June 24th, I think was. So if I do the search. It's loading. I mean, there are a few in here that look funny.
You got the list from that day.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, does it look weird? Does it like
No, not really.
At least half of them should be Gmail. If half of them aren't Gmail, it's definitely weird.
Bunch of Yahoo. Tons of Yahoo. There are a bunch of Gmail in here too. There are a handful of AOLs in here.
Okay, that
should be. Maybe you should introduce CAPTCHA.
Well,
no, it's working.
Once I switched over, it's
so you
fine
switched
now.
From what to what?
So I had a static site generator, and it was sucking up more and more of my time to maintain the website. So I switched it back to WordPress, and that turned out to be a bit of a project. But now I don't have to spend a ton of time managing the stupid website, and I can actually have Michelle or somebody else do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, there must be. The only thing I can think of is there's some bots out there that look for sites that are vulnerable, and maybe they could scrape your site, whereas WordPress maybe has some built-in protection or something that.
Well, the other thing is that how do I put it? So I'm using the ActiveCampaign. I think it uses the JavaScript to load in the form, And before it was just the form was directly embedded into the HTML.
I think there's a tool to test the emails you have and see if they are good or bad.
Yeah, I should. I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
Where it tells you that they're bad email addresses. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
What it's called.
Unbounce or
Yeah.
There's an
That's
AppSumo DLI bot that allows you to do it for 10,000 emails at a time.
basically, here's where you're at. You should almost trash your entire list. You should basically go and only keep the people that have opened emails in the last 90 days and then take everyone else off. Get rid of
Yeah.
that. That'll probably give you like a list of like 2,000 or 3,000, which is what your list actually is. Because you're, whatever that was when you're getting 100 emails a day, that was not, those are not real
Yeah, there's
emails.
something funny going on there.
And then from now on forward, then you can have a accurate picture of what your list is. I mean, you might even just start over. You might even just create a entirely new list, like archive the list you have now, maybe pull out some of the like most active people, like the people that, and add them to the new list. But and then just start over and have that an accurate list that you've got growing, so that you know what you're doing. Because the problem is
One
like,
way you can,
you're going to get hurt with deliverability for sure at this
Yeah.
point. Like,
Well,
I mean, you're just-
ActiveCampaign came over and said you need to run these cleanup tasks. And
Yeah.
so I did that, but
plus in addition to that, it's not just deliverability, but you're paying ActiveCampaign way too much money right now.
Yes,
for
I am.
worthless, because you're probably paying them or maybe not 600, probably like at least $400 a month.
it's like $500 a month. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, you're that's just money out the window, because
That's
you-
true. If I spend 40 or $50 on Unbounce once and clear half my list or something.
But that's not, Unbounce is really going to look at email addresses that are invalid, not necessarily.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be able to detect all that. It's going to look for like obvious stuff, but you just need to purge the list and just keep the ones that are actually opening.
Yeah.
Like your list size after this is done should be at the max like 3,000.
I think last time I did this, I think I scrubbed it down to like 4,000 or 5,000 out of like 16,000 or 17,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I still don't know what the hell is going on, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
other thing you can do is just set up another account with another email marketing software
Yeah.
and transfer over all your new leads into that and see what happens for a month.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like try that for ConvertKit or something. See what happens there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Your email marketing is dead right now. You don't have any email marketing. That's
true.
Right.
So then I just switch over and start emailing. I guess I could also just send out an email blast to my current list to basically just say, look, I'm going to switch over to a new provider. This is what's going on, click here to subscribe over there or something.
You can, but with 3% open and probably 0.3% or even less click, you're probably getting more like 30, 40 clicks in any given email, maybe 50,
Yeah.
60 clicks, 90 clicks at best.
Yeah.
So you're not really getting much of a, you can transfer those people over, whoever is clicking, but those are so few that it's not even worth your time right now to run that campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, man. So email is dead. Now what are you gonna do to sell those 100 spots?
Well, I'm going to go talk to all my friends. I'm also going to set up
one-
affiliates for all that stuff.
You might want to talk to your friend on Entre Programmers.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, if either or both of you want to run it, I would be.
I don't really have a programming audience.
Yeah, I
My
get you.
audience is pretty generic that way. It wouldn't really help. But I'm sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to fit it into the schedule right now. I'm actually trying to reduce the affiliate promotion schedule to twice a month. So I've got it already scheduled out. We're doing the 4th of July sale now.
How did it go with DAPU?
So you don't
It's
think I can run this through?
$99.
Huh?
$99.
For what?
DAP University.
Oh, you
What
didn't
do you
sell
mean?
very many of those.
Yeah, it literally sold $99.
Hang on. How much? What? Can you?
Yeah.
What?
That was the profit. Is one sale for $199.
Something's wrong.
It's the offer didn't convert. I mean, it was sending it to his list, but yeah, pretty crazy.
Dude, that's insanity.
Mm-hmm.
You trust the guy.
Oh yeah, for 100%. Yeah, 100% for sure.
Just yeah. So these cleaning tools, they just go in and pull out all the invalids. They don't do anything else.
I mean, they look at different vectors to see, is it something that's known as as an invalid domain? Is it
You should run Litmus, at least. See what happens there. It'll give you a pretty good report.
What is it?
Litmus. It'll basically test a lot of different components of your email marketing and tell you where you stand. Like,
it's a waste
What
of
other-
time though. It's a complete because the list
Yeah, I mean,
is really not. It's
you're
trash.
you're so far down the rabbit hole now that it's so almost not salvageable.
Yeah, the only thing to do is to salvage it is not to try and eliminate people from the list, but only to preserve some of the people.
Right.
That's what I would do, because it's a waste of time and money to try and like figure out which emails are valid. I mean, just archive them if you want for now, but
Have you guys started your 4th of July offer, John?
yeah, yep. On
How's that
both.
going?
I don't know. The email just went out. Let me see if there's
First,
any.
or have you been doing multiple?
This is the first one that's gone out. So it's a 4th of July sale, like a 48-hour sale, but they're getting early access. So because we had all the 48-hour stuff. Looks like there's a sale so far. Let me see how many. I don't know how
Oh,
many
it just
click-
went out today.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think there's one on Bulldog. Should see if that.
What's the offer
That
on
one-
Bulldog?
That one should have a coupon. It's supposed to be. Let me see, or maybe that's scheduled. I bet that's scheduled. What I had wanted to do. Let me see what I ended up doing for the offer. I think what I decided on was to do the $7 trial, but make it $5, and then basically the with the upsell that we have in there now, it'll even out. So let me see if I can find.
So
that
the Bulldog,
email.
the Bulldog one isn't really a promotion because you're going from 7 to 5.
Yeah, but this is like the lowest it's ever been, right? So it's like get in for $5.
Man, that's like I'm still. I thought you guys did pretty well with Dapu last time around, right?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the deal is with that. Why can't I ever see the actual email that got sent? 4th of July email. There's like not a way to like view an email that you've sent. It's kind of retarded.
I can view it.
Not an active campaign. You can't see
Oh, I see.
the actual like contents of the email unless you go in. Like you can't. It's so weird. Oh wait, maybe if I go and see what someone actually was saying. Here we go. Hopefully the coupon code July 4th. So it should be. I haven't seen any coupon codes being used yet. Let's see what happens. I think he might have. Oh yeah, no, he's got the 29.97 one.
Perfect. There's
Type in the coupon. Oh, is it all caps? July 4. Yeah, drops it down to $5. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Shoot, I got to drop off here and on the hour. Want to do thoughts?
Sure.
Let's do it.
God, I'm so frustrated with this email thing.
I got one. Okay, so this is something that I've done in the past, and it's makes a lot of sense. Which is basically pay for access to join circles or high-profile people, right? So I just signed up like this week for this guy that has a YouTube channel that has like 2.5 million subscribers, and he did a Patreon, and he was offering like $1,000 a month for coaching to jump on a call with him for an hour, and then
Who's this guy?
I don't want to say because yeah, I don't want to say because it could.
Can you message us here?
Yeah, I'll tell you after, but
His name is Tronald Dump.
that's right. Actually, let me put it. I'll put it. It's so anyway.
2.5 million sounds pretty close to our buddy.
Yeah. But so
I see.
there's also been some like anyway the whole point is that I'll I'll have access to this guy, and a lot of people aren't going to take advantage of this for sure because $1,000 a month to his YouTube subscribers is going to seem like a ridiculous amount, but I get to get on a call with him once a month, and then get access to text him anytime I need. So basically, the whole idea behind this is not really about the coaching necessarily. It's just about the access, right? And if you're friends with someone who has a 2.5 million subscriber YouTube channel, right, and they, then you have the opportunity potentially for them to promote your channel at some point, right? Which is similar thing that I do with a lot of my coaching clients. As I've had coaching clients for a while, I end up eventually promoting something that they're doing or talking about their channel, right? And so anyway, it's just a good way to get access, right? This is one of those things like I did this before. I paid Ryan Holiday $500 to get on the call with him, and then kind of establish a relationship with him, publish some articles for him, and things like that. Same thing I've done in the past, joining Perry Marshall's mastermind group, and have access to him now, via email anytime I have questions or anything like that. And then, anyway, there's quite a few. instances where I've done this in the past. Oh, Noah Kagan, I met him simply by PayPaling him $500 because he did this thing where it's like, oh, the first 10 people that PayPal me $500, I'll jump on a call with you and I'll refund you the $500. So I did that, and that's how I was able to meet him and build a lot of good business relationships with him from that. So the key is like be willing to pay money to get around high profile people, right? I think that's it's a big lesson that I've learned, because it's really like the circles that you go in really going to determine to a large degree a lot of the luck that happens in your life.
Yep. Makes sense.
Right, sure.
Yeah, one tier down from that, I'm just going to throw this out there. So a lot of times, yeah, you can pay for access, but sometimes you can pay for adjacency. So you're not directly dealing with these folks, but a lot of times they have programs and master classes and things like that where they've kind of distilled a lot of their knowledge and things like that down, right? And so I paid for like the 2 Comma Club X group from Russell Brunson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and so I'm not going to be working directly with Russell, but I'm working with people who he's trained in his expertise, and I can kind of level up from there. And so yeah, I'm not working with Russell, but I'm working Russell adjacent, so to speak. And so it's the same kind of deal as far as like setting things up and making things work and things like that. And so then once I have that mastered, then I might be able to do the next thing, or maybe there'll be events for 2 Comma Club X, right? And so I can go to the event and I can interact with him there, right? And so if you can't pay for the access, because I can't afford his coaching rate because it's way more than I can afford, but the flip side is that I can get close, right? And I can get kind of the beginner steps from him, and then I can level up from there. And I can network my way to him as well.
Yep.
My thought is that during times of disruption and massive upheaval, like the ones that we're seeing right now, these are the times of wealth transfer. This is when wealth will exchange hands very rapidly, and some people will lose big time. Some people will lose their shirt, their businesses, their everything, while others will find, opportunities not to benefit from like hurting anyone, but just being able to help people through a situation like this. They will be able to make massive amounts of money. So even in the midst of crisis, there's opportunity to do it right or do it wrong. And this wealth transfer is happening as we speak right now. So we'll see how that goes, but it's happening. We have to become aware, and we have to have the right mindset about it, because anyone who's playing the victim card, who's believing that somehow they are going to suffer or they are suffering as a result of all this, they're going to find themselves as the people who are going to end up losing in this wealth transfer, if you want to call it that.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, guys. See you next week.
All right. Bye.
Or an out.